Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you, Mr. President. My honourable friends, as a begin, I'd like to echo the words of Ursula von der Leyen and what she said last month in the State of the Union speech before this Parliament. She said that European values are not for sale. However, it does not seem to be as clear as it should be across the EU. Certain member states have set up systems where they allow rich investors and members of their family to receive a passport by making an inconsequential investment or by paying a high price. And this has clear impacts for other member states and the EU. In fact, the fact that you can become an EU national, that gives you automatically EU citizenship and all the associated rights. And a foreign investor who buys EU nationality can directly conduct economic activity in other member states and also receive non-discrimination. Moreover, this individual could also be involved in democratic processes. For example, they could exercise their right to vote, and they could also be a candidate for European elections, or on top of that could also be municipal elections.
Of great concern, notably for this House and the Commission. The Commission has worked hard on this matter, as it is also a European issue with European values at stake. In January 2019, the Commission published its first ever report on investor citizenship schemes and investor residence schemes operated in the EU. The report clearly spelled out the inherent risks of such schemes, in particular as regards security, money laundering, tax evasion and corruption. And since the beginning of this Commission mandate, we have continuously raised this concern with the Member States concerned, urging them to reconsider their decision to operate such schemes. Since the beginning of my mandate, I have had a constant dialogue with the relevant Member States, where I repeatedly highlighted the Commission's concerns and urged them to reconsider their decision to operate such schemes. Before the pandemic, I met personally with the ministers of the relevant Member States to discuss investor citizenship schemes. In April, I followed up with letters asking to reconsider the schemes. I also had several calls with the competent ministers follow up on their commitments to provide more information on their government plan. While both Malta and Cyprus may have the intention to apply some changes to their investor citizenship schemes, they appear to be determined to continue their schemes in some form. We need to convince them not to do that. Mesdames et Messieurs les députés,
Ladies and gentlemen, we've seen in Cyprus and Malta recent scandals, and these underscore the serious concerns we have. The Commission's report commits to maintain oversight of compliance of regimes in place which are with EU law. If necessary, we will take measures. Today, I'm here to tell you that the Commission will maintain this commitment. The Commission decided this week to open infringement proceedings against the investor citizenship schemes in Cyprus and Malta.
Of share rights that all Member States provide in solidarity. Together, the Member States create the conditions for the enjoyment of EU citizenship. The European Court of Justice has been clear. It is for each Member State to lay down the conditions for the acquisition and loss of nationality. But, as the Court has also ruled, this competence must be exercised having due regard to EU law. EU law requires Member States to recognise the nationality of another Member State without imposing any other condition. As a result, the decision to naturalise a person by a Member State is not limited to its own jurisdiction and is not neutral with regard to other Member States. Member States should therefore use their prerogatives to grant nationality with due regard to EU law and in particular to the principle of sincere cooperation which is laid down in the treaties. A member state fails in that obligation when it establishes a scheme which systematically grants naturalisation in the absence of any true link with the state and on the sole basis of a financial investment, or, in other words, where passports are for sale. Honourable members, over the span of only a couple of years, Cyprus and Malta have naturalised several thousand persons based on their schemes. The price for a European passport in these member states ranges between 1 million and 2 million euros. These investor citizenship schemes undermine the mutual trust of member states in each other's naturalisation procedures. This trust is a precondition for the effective enjoyment of EU citizenship rights. But by undermining this trust, these schemes threaten the integrity of EU citizenship and its proper functioning, and violate the principle of sincere cooperation. Mesdames et Messieurs les députés,
Honourable members, Malta seems to be committed to replacing their regime with a new programme on a basis which has significantly changed. In Cyprus, the government has announced the end to the current regime in the near future. The implementation of a new programme is already being talked about. But the question is too important to wait for the outcome of these processes. Now we have to take measures to show our determination and commitment that we will not accept that the European citizenship can be sold as a mere commodity. I think we can all agree on one important point. European values and principles are undermined if the rights and EU citizenship are part of a simple economic transaction.
a couple of words on Bulgaria, which also operates an investor citizenship scheme. Equally this week, the Commission sent a letter to the Bulgarian authorities strongly urging them to phase out their scheme in the context of an ongoing national legislative procedure to change the Bulgarian citizenship law. We also have asked for additional information on the scheme. The Commission will not hesitate to consider an infringement procedure against Bulgaria if necessary. Finally, the Commission has not forgotten about schemes that give foreign investors access to residence permits, also called golden visas. While golden visa schemes do not raise the same legal issues as schemes that result in the acquisition of EU citizenship, there is often a close interaction between the two types of schemes, as residence can be a prerequisite for the acquisition of nationality. Most of the inherent risks of such schemes, such as regarding security, money laundering and corruption, are the same. Third country nationals with a valid EU residence permit can travel freely, in particular in the Schengen area. This means that if one member state does not apply the necessary security checks, other member states can be negatively affected. Member states should therefore ensure that all necessary steps are taken to prevent security, corruption, tax evasion and money laundering risks. They must also apply rigorous and transparent criteria to identify and combat crime and corruption. The Commission has expressed its concerns about the risks inherent in residence schemes and about the fact that these risks are not always sufficiently mitigated by the measures taken by member states. In this context, the Commission continues to closely monitor these schemes and their application to ensure compliance with EU law, including the need to carry out all obligatory border and security checks in line with the EU acquis prior to the issuance of any permit. Il en va de même pour les
with citizenship schemes for third countries as well. There's also for some candidate countries. It's also important for those countries that have visa access. This visa access should not be used as a marketing tool to attract investment in exchange for citizenship. In its report in 2019, the Commission expressed its concern and asked for information for all third countries where there are visa exemptions who have or plan investor citizenship schemes. This was done in close cooperation with the External Action Service. The consequence of this is that some countries have already removed their schemes and others have put or will bring their schemes to an end. We will continue to follow these schemes to ensure that there's no risk for security linked to the schemes. I'm very pleased to have been able to explain our policy in this area to you this morning, and I'll be very keen to listen to your comments and to respond to any questions afterwards. Thank you.